Hey, this is Rich over at TVP Live with another quick tips tutorials brought to you by Adobe Photoshop Elements Custom Tutorials Group. And let's jump right in with today's poster. Wants to know how to fix this logo. Now, if it was a little bit sharper, you might be able to go up here to Enhance and go to Auto Sharpen, but look what happens. Not much. That's because it's just way too fuzzy. I'm going to go ahead and undo that. And in this case, you actually have to re-establish the whole new graphic logo from scratch. You know what? It's not that difficult, so I'll show you how to do it. So basically, you just want to trace what's already there. I'm going to create a new blank layer, and I'm going to grab the polygon tool. Now, you have two choices down here in the tool options, and that is a lasso tool, which allows you to draw like that. I'm going to undo that. Or the polygon tool right there. There's a polygon lasso, which is a series of lines, and I'm clicking the left mouse button to create the next straight line. I double click at the end and it closes what we call the marching ants, and that is a polygon tool. I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to just start from scratch, basically tracing the edge of this. And basically what I'm doing is choosing in between the fuzzy lines here and kind of just taking artistic license. When I get to the end here, I'm going to double click. That closes the marching ants. I'll zoom out so we can see the whole piece there. And since the outline of the whole project is black, I'm going to come down here to the color palette, click on that with the left mouse button, and now I can choose any color I want with the left mouse button. You see that little circle? I can hit the left mouse button and then I can change the hues and pick whatever we want. Now pure black is going to be at the bottom left corner here no matter which different hue you choose. So I'll just drag all the way down here, the little circle, all the way to that corner, and that gives us pure black, which is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And that down here you can see 0, 0, 0. I'll hit OK. I'm going to grab that paint bucket over here, and since I have a new layer in the middle here, just click it. And there is our outline. I'll hit Control D to deselect, and I can turn off the background. There's our new outline for the new logo. Now I'm going to put that in the background by taking that layer and dragging it behind the other one. I'll turn that layer back on. See these little eyeballs? I can turn these on or off. Now I'm going to take this blue portion and trace it out, and I'll start with a new layer on top of that one, and then grab the polygon lasso tool again, and I'll just go ahead and zoom in a little bit and just start tracing that blue portion very carefully. And I'm hitting the left mouse button, click, 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 click. Now here you really do have to take artistic license. And now that I'm getting closer to the end here, I will double click, and now I have that blue portion to fill in. Where am I going to get the blue? Once again, we come over to the color palette, and then eyedropper tool, come over here, and we can pick one of these blues. And what I'll do is, because these blues are kind of soft, so I can come over here and actually play around with that and make it a little bit more in the deeper blues like that. Right there. I'll hit OK and then grab the paint bucket, and since I've got its own layer, I can just click right in here and boom, and that's looking pretty good. Now I can toggle that to see what I need to do is cut out the eyeballs, and then we'll do the teeth. So how do I cut that out? How do I look at that? By taking the opacity of that layer and having it. Here it says 100%. I can highlight that and type in 50%, and you can see now it's see-through. See that? So now what I can do is grab the polygon tool again, and I can cut out the eyeball from the blue. And I'll hit delete, boom, and that cut out the area for the red. And now we can make another layer for the red, and since the red is kind of underneath, I'll put the layer in between these two by clicking on this layer and then come up here and hit new layer, and it put a blank layer right in between. Let's go ahead and grab the color first by getting the eyedropper tool and then click somewhere in the middle of this pink here. I'm going to go ahead and open that up by clicking the palette, and I can see I'm going to make it a little more pure by coming right up here like that. See that it's really vibrant. I'll hit OK. And since it's behind the blue layer, we can just create a polygon a little bigger, and it's okay because it's behind the blue. As soon as I double click, I can grab the paint bucket and fill it in, and there it is, nice and pink. Now we'll have to create another one up here that's not there. So let's go ahead and grab the polygon again and carefully come up here. And I believe this is kind of what it was before. If I grab the paint bucket and paint it in, there it is. Let's do the same thing with the teeth. We'll grab the polygon tool and come up here. Anything we draw on top of the blue is actually going to be below the blue, so it's okay that we overlap it on that point. And we'll make this nice and sharp. These are like teeth. Double click, grab the paint bucket and fill that in. And lastly, there's another tooth over here. Now I can see some pink highlights in other portions, and it's kind of hard to determine what that is. So we're just going to leave that alone. Now all we have to do is bring that background, the black background up here, bring it up above the original, and there it is. It fills it in. I can turn that original off, and we got us a new logo. So now we want to check this one more time, and we can see that there was kind of a black outline around the eyeball there. So we can go ahead and add that really simply by adding a new layer. Grab a brush, come down here, and make that brush a hard brush. And then we pick the color palette, choose the black way down there, hit OK, and then zoom in. And let's see what we got. This is at a 19 point. Let's try this at about 6 points. And I can click here. I'll hold the shift down and click, shift, click, click, shift, click. And then I could just hand draw it if I want. And then come on over to this one here and do the same thing. Just bring it up like that. And there you go. That is a nice looking logo. Now if I want to add a nice drop shadow, I can always choose that, right click, and do edit layer style. And let's change the angle to a 135. That's kind of a standard, having the light coming from the top left to the bottom right. And choose drop shadow. I'm going to make the opacity 100%. The distance, I don't know, let's say 25, and then make the size. See, as I change the size here, look what happens to that background. It's looking really nice. I think I want to bring that down to right around maybe 75 point on the size. And the distance is pretty good at 35. And lastly, take the opacity and bring that down from 100 so it's a nice, soft, subtle drop shadow right there at about 85. And that's pretty much it. That's all there is to it. Hey, don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Rich calling it quits, saying over and out.